Namaste everyone. Welcome to today's guest talk titled Vidya's Holistic Approach, Fostering Spirituality and Values. The guest speaker with us today is Ms. Rashmi Misra. She's the founder chairperson of VIDYA, that is Vidya Integrated Development for Youth and Adults, a 35-year-old grassroots NGO providing holistic education, skills training, and healthcare to underprivileged children and adults, covering the complete spectrum of their educational and developmental needs. Rashmi Misra has distinguished herself as an outstanding social leader and visionary through her exemplary work done for over 3 decades, educating, empowering, and transforming the lives of underprivileged fellow Indians. She stands out as a highly inspirational role model for others to emulate. Welcome, Rashmi ma'am. We feel honored and delighted to have you today with your talks. Look forward to a beautiful session with you. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Namaskar to all of you. Special pranams to the elders, to Rameshji who's there, and an inspiration for all of us, to you, Anurima, and all the members of the ashram, and of course, dear students who are in the audience. I'm absolutely honored and delighted to be with the Aurobindo Ashram family. I've had a very long and a wonderful association with the ashram. My family elders have made a tremendous difference for the last 40 years to Aurobindo. And General K.K. Tiwari, Mrs. Kamla Tiwari have given their whole life to the ashram. So it is very much close to me and connected to me. And 6 of my cousins serve the ashram today. I have been connected to the Mothers School and the ashram from the early 80s. As you know, the Vidya's first program started from IIT Delhi on the campus, and the very first student volunteers were the 11th grade students of the Mothers School. My sister lived in the ashram, and I was very closely associated. And whenever I need inspiration, I need spiritual strength, I visit the Aurobindo ashram because of the beautiful ambience, the peace, the beautiful people, and that abides, the whole atmosphere is really life-changing and very special for me. I have always been a teacher, and I'm so fortunate to have lived on the IIT Delhi campus for 24 years. My husband was a professor and a dean there, and then he moved on to IIT Bombay, where he was a director. And living on the campus, it's an unreal situation because you have a wall that segregates real life, but across the wall, it's a complete contrast to what you see on the campus. Here we have children, youth, families with very little, absolutely no education there, and we have a wall that segregates us. At one place, they couldn't build a wall. What they did was they had a dirty nala, and they couldn't build a wall. But in that dirty nala were always young girls. And one day I just walked up to them. I said, "Why aren't you in school?" I said, "Where are you coming from? Don't you know that girls never go to school, only boys go to school?" So I just, and he says, "No." And then I said, "Would you like to study?" He said, "Of course, but nobody's going to teach us. We are girls. I'll teach you." And I brought them home. And that's how Vidya began, with 5 little girls. It is a story that it's hard to believe, but we started with a concept that, these children were always very intelligent, very smart, just lacked opportunity. So what Vidya has done over all these years, given a beautiful, holistic, comprehensive education to every child, every individual child who comes to us. Our mission is very clear. It's educate, empower, and transform. And we work with children, with youth, and with women. What we have done in the so many years of our work is basically empower needy communities through education, through vocational training, especially women, with initiatives of empowerment, enabling to break that cycle of poverty and achieve sustainable livelihoods. So Vidya is dedicated to creating a positive social impact, and by fostering holistic development and nurturing every individual to reach their potential. Our vision is to create an inclusive and equitable society where every individual is regarded regardless of their social background, has an access to quality education, opportunities for skill development, and an ability to lead a dignified life. In Vidya, we envision the future where education serves as a powerful tool that transforms individuals and contributes actively to the progress of our communities and the nation. So for the last so many years, actually it's almost 4 decades very soon, we have educated about 4.5 lakh children, youth and women through diverse education programs. Effort is to establish Vidya schools. We have one very close to where you are, which I'd love you to visit, and what we call a beyond school education, which is working out of many government schools. And we have actually improved the learning outcomes to children who are from the most disadvantaged backgrounds. So in our vocational training sphere, we have equipped thousands of youth and women with essential skills, leading them to enhanced employability and income. And training at various sectors, Vidya has contributed in building a skilling amongst women to lead a more self-reliant life. And you'll feel at every center of Vidya, you'll find children, youth, and women. The recent change, we have brought in a lot of digital literacy programs that have bridged the digital divide and empowering our same children, youth, and women with a lot of skills which are digital, so they can be part of the new world, the new change that is happening in the world, have access to information, and also be ready. So we have taught women what we call digital sati, so they can actually do the apps on their phone and connect, so they're not left behind. Some very interesting schemes we are doing, and we're doing them across world. Recently, I opened a Vidya in my village, which is in Himachal Pradesh. And even there, already we have about 40 students approximately. These are where they had never had the opportunity of learning or seeing, even working on a computer. And they're picking it up faster than you can imagine. But while we address all the education needs, we also address the health, nutrition, overall well-being, because we just feel it really all goes together. You cannot offer education without offering an opportunity for them to have an access to health. It all goes together. So for us, this is really, really important. But more than anything else, why I said that why we call it actually in a way a spiritual learning, that our children are focused about very much on their how they can be individual leaders of change to create peace and harmony within their families and their communities. So we work a lot with teaching them what we call life skills. And every Vidya program, whether it's focused in a government school, or it's focused in a community, or it is focused in wherever we are working, we focus on what we call life skills, and where we involve promoting values, ethics, compassion, a sense of interconnectedness amongst the beneficiaries. So they take these learnings into their families and become community leaders. So many of them tell us later that, for example, a girl called Sanjana, she says, I changed my grandmother. Firstly, my grandmother didn't want any girls to go to school. Today, she stands outside the village and every girl to school. And with that, the whole attitude towards girls has changed in the community because of one Sanjana, right? So the holistic approach that we look at is another very important aspect of our development, because we really believe that if you can teach our children holistically, we know that effect will be far stronger. So we instill values through life skills, like I said, talking about equality, empathy, gratitude, kindness. All these are the qualities we work on through a live demonstration and help them to find a sense of purpose and an understanding of others' needs. These are very important. And that is why they can, and if they're not whole human beings, they will not be able to handle the world outside. They will not be able to bridge the gap between the privileged and the underprivileged. And so we empower them through life skills, where and the role models, of course, are our teachers, and the team. So every individual student is given a personalized attention. So every teacher knows about the student, his dream, his family background, and encourages support them as the best they can. And that's, I think, what makes the major difference. So we have a very close rapport with every family of every student. And the mothers join in Vidya as students. So we include the mothers into our programs. And we adopt our program to the needs of every individual needs. So we change it according to the needs of what the individual student needs. And so we also know, we all know that the magic in life is education is a magic. It's a magic that transforms an individual, builds his confidence and his character. And that is what Vidya's core base is. Yoga is something which we practice in almost across all our Vidyas. Yoga is part of our program in incorporate mindfulness and meditation practices to help our students and beneficiaries to become more self-aware and grounded. These practices foster, of course, as we all know, inner peace. They foster a resilience, a deeper understanding of yourself and of others. And it's very crucial because where our children are coming from is a very difficult situation. They have to deal with far more things than you and I can even imagine. But this strengthens them. It's not just the good academics, but the understanding of themselves through meditation, through yoga, as we well know. So we have weekly classes, talk to our students and youth, and we spend time with these children to look at their challenges as well. So and to overcome those through a little through a counselor, through our conversations, so that we help them, and they in fact learn to do that with their own families and connect with them as well. Our focus is always on the inner being, because we conduct workshop sessions on emotional well-being, on mental health, and address mental health and emotional needs. We contribute to the overall spiritual understanding of themselves. So what we know is there are many journeys. Yeah, one journey is for them on the academic front. The other journey is inside journey. And we have to strengthen, especially girls, and 60% of our students are girls, because they have to deal with so much more. And how do they stand out? So in fact, one of our girls went to her village, and today she works for a very big company, and they couldn't believe it because most of the girls are kept home and not even sent to school. Here is this girl, confident, speaking English, is working for Deloitte, a big company, and they said, "Wow, what happened here?" She says, they said, "If your daughter can do it, so can us." So these are little role models. Each of our students I consider as a role model who brings that, but that working with each individual child, both externally, internally, and build their confidence is basically our effort and our resolve to strengthen them and keep them focused on what they're doing. So for example, we had, with these workshops, I remember once we had connected with a lot of young corporates who came to mentor our children in the VIDYA School, which is in Gurgaon. They're very intelligent. We have approximately 20% of our children who are from the rag pickers children. They are children of, very daily wages, first generation learners, but they are Mensa. So they're very high IQ. So we got them individual, mentors. We call them Mitra to work with them. And a little later, this young guy came to me and says, I don't know what to do. My young boy who I'm mentoring wants to be a guru. He wants to learn Vedanta. He wants to be a spiritual guru so that he can take some, change his community. And so I said, look, it's now you have to work on how you're going to do it. So he actually learned some Vedanta to teach him. So he says, I changed my life because of this young boy that you brought me to. So it's amazing. Another thing we do is we encourage all our children to engage in the community service. We find that part of their education is to give back, right? Through these experiences of working in the community, you cultivate a sense of selflessness, of service, which is such a crucial part of your upbringing, and feeling a part of the larger community. For example, during the Corona time, our kids were at home and we were working on little telephones with them. And one time what happened is a little boy from a Bombay community where they had only one water faucet for 60 families, told his teacher that, what do we do? My parents and everybody is fighting in the village. They're all fighting for water. It comes only twice a day and we don't get enough water. So he says, so the teacher advised that you talk to your elders in the family and elders in the and ask them what's the solution, and you work towards it. So they set up what is called a Bal Panchayat, little 9-year-olds. And they went and figured out that if every family gives 200 rupees, then they can put more water taps on that same pipe. So nobody has to fight. And these little children actually did that, collected the money, found somebody to connect, and there was no fighting anymore. Solution. They found a solution. So now the Bal Panchayats are running in every Vidya to see how little children who are thinking differently can solve all the issues of their community. So that is the service we look at. Community service by all our children. And then, that's where they learn the unselfishness. That's where they learn that their education, their life should be aimed at give back, at some way that they can make a difference. And they're very attuned to that. When you talk to even our little one, they said, I want to join the Administrative Service of India. I said, why? This is a child who's, I think, about 11. She said, because I want to make a difference. I want to say that the things that are not right, I want to put them right. So already they are focused on these kind of things. So the value part is part of our curriculum. Value-based education is part of our curriculum. We focus on ethics. We bring stories, biographies. We get people to do workshops with our children. So they share their story. And that's what inspires them. And that's what helps them to understand compassion, decision-making, empathy. All these are woven into our teaching at every level. Because we look at our children and we are part of one. Vidya is like a huge family. We're a family. And unless you can provide them this inspiration, how will you create a young community leader? And you have to, because for them, life is such, they have to be leading change. That's what education is called. So we find that also talking about, we celebrate all the festivals with great enthusiasm at Vidya. We talk about the oneness of all religions. We talk about the rich heritage, the culture, the respect for your parent, which is so core in all of us. And that, then we are so privileged to inherit, being the inhabitants of Bharat, which is forgotten in many schools, is forgotten by many people. But we bring that back, and that's what empowers them. So you will not believe that any of our Vidyas, we don't have an indiscipline problem. For example, in the school that I mentioned, the Vidya School, we have close to 1,200 children, plus another 300, 400 young adults who are there. We have mothers as well as young dropout youth who we bring back. We don't have an indiscipline problem. So, and so because they're so focused on we try to bring out the good in everybody, and that is our effort. That is our koshish. So we also bring in, people like, we love inspiration, people who can talk to them, who they can model after, because that is what actually changes. There's so many guiding lights for our students that we look at. And that is, I'm very keen that if you would like to visit and come forth and share the philosophy of Shri Aurobindo and the mother to our children, they'll be more than open to accept and to understand and learn from that. So, and as we know, as I shared before, they need a lot of courage to manage the struggles they have in their lives to make that dream come true. So many of them, fall down many times, but they get up again with enthusiasm and again stand up and build their dreams. And it's really, I'm really proud that most 90% of our children who go through Vidya are going into university, going into college, and making a mark there as well. So in fact, one of my students went to my old college, which is Lady Shri Ram College in Delhi. And the principal called me, he says, your little girl is the Wikipedia of the entire LSR. She's good at everything. How did you do this? I said, I didn't do anything. We exposed them to everything so that she's can debate, she can dance, she can do computer, she can do robotics, and she is interested in seeing how she can help others. We have a student who went to IIM, has joined IIM, and I asked him this question. I said, when you go into a college like IIM or IIT or NITs, many of our students are there from the Vidya School, never been out of the Vidya School. How do you manage it? He says, in the beginning, they reject us because they know we are different. But we learned at Vidya how to live and support everybody else. We didn't take it badly. And what we did was, whenever they needed help, anybody needed help, even with academics, we helped them. then we were accepted. We were accepted for us, not from where we came from. And that is the beauty of teaching these life skills and making them understand human beings and human nature, and understanding the give back and the qualities and values that Vidya promotes. We also talk a lot about gratitude, because I think that is, see, we encourage them to practice reflection and gratitude regularly. This helps them to find meaning in their lives. They know that even if you're poor, there's somebody who can be in a much worse condition than you. So you're very blessed. And we make them aware of that. And we focus on those positive aspects of life, which really help them to understand that they are truly blessed. And that gratitude, spurns them on to do more and to do good. Yeah. And we also give them a sense of purpose, because a sense of purpose is very, very important to discover your passion and your potential. Otherwise, it's very hard to put that across. For example, I share a story of the beginnings of Vidya when it was very new. There's a young boy who walked up to me and said, he was class 5 pass. And he said, "Do you think you can make me an engineer?" And I looked this kid up and down. "You want to be an engineer? But, tell me a little bit why. What's an engineer?" So he rattled up a story, which is very touching. He says, "I'm from Kinnaur district of Himachal. And in my village, one day I saw some people building, working on building a dam. And I asked, who are these people? I was about 8, 9 years old. I said, these are engineers. And I just wanted to be that. And so I ran away from home, became a servant in a home, worked, and she also put me into a regular government school and said, I told her, I said, I want to go to school so I can be an engineer. And she put him into a government school where he finished class 5. And after, nobody would admit him in class 6. So he stood in front of me. And I jumped him into the class 10, an NIS program. And I said, look, Vajra Sen, if you work hard and you do your 10 in 1 year, we are behind you. And maybe you'll be the engineer you want to be. And believe it or not, a year later, he finished 3 of his subjects in class 10. And Hillary Clinton came to visit us in the open air theater, IIT Delhi. That was the only NGO she visited when she came as the First Lady of America. And CNN showed up at our door. I've always worked very quietly, but CNN showed up at our door and made a movie. And this kid said one sentence. He said, look, my dream is to be an engineer, but the first thing I'm going to do is open a school like Vidya in my hometown, so other kids won't have to run away like I had to run away to study. And a lady called me from Portland, Oregon, and says, will you send that child to me? I'll help him to be the engineer. And you won't believe it, I sent him. And today he's a computer science engineer in Long Beach, California. And not only has he become an engineer, but he's changed his entire village. They all understood the value of education. And they improved the school. And this young boy took charge of his entire family, educated his 2 brothers. You know the magic of education. He says, you're not going to just be, you have to go to college, you have to be study, you have to be somebody. You cannot just, live in the village. You have to do something, do some good. And it's amazing. And he says, Vidya is my temple. And he came to Vidya when I set up the Vidya School in Gurgaon. And he told all the children, he said, look, I sat on the floor and I became an engineer. What can you not become? You have everything here that you can imagine. And so he encouraged all the kids. So these are the Vidya children. Each one of them is actually a huge success story, has a dream that is fulfilled because Vidya offered them the opportunity to dream and to achieve. It's just, so for us, for the Badr Sen, for example, we taught him the Gita. We had him for 1 year before he went to the US. Not only did he do his academics, we had a volunteer who taught him how to focus. So we taught him the Gita. And in fact, it is incredible. That boy never gave up that focus, never give up that. And he's as humble, as kind. He knows where he comes from as he was when he left. He hasn't changed. He could have changed, but that's the value system of Vidya, which is ingrained in him. So he couldn't change. So basically, our effort is to create what we call the total child. At every Vidya, even now, today, every teacher is working on creating a total child. So an individual who can understand himself, who the need of his family, the community, and the nation, and who knows that every challenge in this life has a solution. So it's not that you, and how you deal with life in a positive spirit, and how giving back is a natural instinct which you have to do. So it's amazing that when you talk to any of the Vidya kids, small, big, any age, they're not talking about themselves. They're talking about what they can do for others, for the world, for the country, for others. It's incredible. It's ingrained in them. And we are truly, truly blessed. So I have a quote here from Swami Vivekananda, and he said, education is not the amount of information that is put into your brain and runs riot there, undigested in your life. We must have life building, man making, character making assimilation of ideas. So through similar to what Vidya is trying to do is create the character making assimilation of ideas, we nurture these young, lovely souls, foster individuals who not only possess the knowledge, but radiate the wisdom and compassion, enriching the world and with their enlightened presence. That is what we aspire to do, and we try with every single child. So I thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk to you, and I would be delighted if you can visit Vidya. We are always are open, and we'll be delighted to have you. I'll connect you, Anurama and Rameshji, to our group there and to visit. And delighted to have this opportunity to speak with all of you. If there are any questions, I'll be very happy to take any questions that you have.
Thank you so much, Rashmi ma'am. It was really delightful listening to the inspirational journey of Vidya School, as well as the several other success stories that you shared. And I feel for efforts such as yours and your teams, we are grateful as a society. We are really grateful, really inspirational. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Participants, if anyone has a question, anyone wants to share something, please raise the hand. You can unmute yourself or put it up in the chat box. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.
It's very inspiring to hear your story and the journey of your effort and your group for children in certain areas. Now, I am located in Bhubaneswar, Odisha, and this is the first time ever I'm hearing about a movement called Vidya. That means your effort had not made any presence in the state of Orissa or some maybe like that in some other states. And looking at the success stories that you have enumerated, we will be grateful if more this movement could spread all over India in all states so that the people of India, the children of India, wherever they may be, would get benefited by this pioneering effort. And so I will pray the day to come when you can spread all over into the corners of India. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What a wonderful thought. It's also my dream because recently we started what is called a DEP center, which is Digital Empowerment Center. And we are ready to open. We just opened in Himachal in a small village, in Lucknow, in Pune, in Goa. And we are ready to open in Odisha. Odisha, I feel very close to. I used to be an Odissi dancer at one time in my life. So Odisha, I feel very close to Odisha for, maybe from my last birth. So I will be delighted if you can help me, Acharya ji, to find a place where we just need a school or a college connect where we can open a Vidya, where we can actually, what we say, we'll bring communicative English, certified digital programs, and what we call life skills for anybody in the community. Yeah.
If the blessing of the Lord is there, something will surely happen.
Thank you.
Surely happen. Thank you so much.
Acharya. Thank you so much for your
Namaste.
comment. Namaskar. Namaskar.
Participants, if anyone else has anything to share, please go ahead.
Hello, ma'am, namaskar.
Namaskar, Professor Yadav.
I'm a professor of agriculture. I'm from Delhi itself,
Yes.
and I have never come across with such kind of innovative program which you are doing for the last 35 years. I just want to see that how this Bal Panchayat is conducted. I mean, it is very interesting to see that the children are able to solve their own problem through the mutual understanding or mutual perceptions. So I just want to see that how it is. Are you nurture them first, or you just allow them or monitor their problem solving issues? How it is conducted, ma'am? Just I wanted to know about.
Sure, Professor Yadav. So, for us, we not only educate our children, but we give them a big awareness about everything that is going around them.
Right.
So we in every class, what we do a circle time with every teacher does a personalized circle time with every group. So during Corona and even now, every day we talk about all the other things that are bothering us, like we're talking about right now about the environment, because this next generation is going to have a very difficult time because what earth are we giving them? There's no water in Gurgaon, right? So our children are very aware, and we make them aware. They debate, they discuss, they listen to the news, they know what's happening. So that is the foundation of the awareness. Then we said, okay, now here's a problem. How are you going to solve it? And they are, like, for example, the simple thing that we all try to solve is the patakas in Diwali, for example, in Delhi. It's the children who become the ambassadors of change. And during COVID, it was amazing that how our children took over across the country. So we were in Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Pune, Goa, and in communities and slums. They took charge of their families for one. They educated their parents how to be aware of Corona. They made possible. In Bombay they took over. They put a booth so that they could get people into hospital. I mean, we train them into thinking. Then we let them make their own decisions and take things forward. This Bal Panchayat is an idea where you are aware about what your community needs and you find a solution.
Right.
So that's the creativity in the children which comes out if you give them that freedom to think and to decide. So Bal Panchayat, they're looking at little things. Why is my mother beaten by my father after he's drunk? How can I solve it? And we have actually worked on those issues together. And in fact, it was in DLF itself where our children came forward, and there was a big conference. You will not believe this. There was a huge conference between the corporate and the government to see how to create Gurgaon into the next Singapore. And our children were invited to entertain everybody to start this conference. And we did a piece on Gandhi's Salt March, which is very inspiring. And they sat in the audience. And then they started discussing on how they're going to build better roads and better garbage and all that. So this little girl put her hand up. She says, can I ask a question? And she says, look, my father is a very good man. He's a truck driver. But every day he drinks a bottle of tharra and beats my mother black and blue. And all of us are beaten. We've never had dinner at home. So before you solve the traffic problem, would you consider the drinking problem? They are bold enough to, because this is how we create them. We create them into little leaders. So, and then she didn't stop. She's all of 13 years old. She says, I come from Haryana, and I'm a girl. If I tell you where these are sold, then I'll be killed. But if you give me security and protection, I'll show you, and you can stop these places. They're not sold in shops. And she actually did. And then we brought Alcohol Anonymous to VIDYA, trained all our students how to deal with it. And you won't believe it, this very girl solved her father's problem, firstly by understanding how to stop the drinking. We stopped but then she meditated with him for 6 months till he gave it up. So these are the leaders. These are leaders we've created, and we're creating them.
And one thing you said, it was really heart touching that the children give really remarkable, innovative ideas. That is we all experience in our even household also.
Yeah.
So thank you, ma'am. Thank you. It was inspiring lecture. Thank you so much.
Dr. Bijlani, I request you to share a few thoughts, please. Sir, please unmute yourself.
Rashmi, that was truly an inspiring talk. But just to say it was an inspiring talk would be a gross understatement. It was educative as well as uplifting and also very humbling. Who has not observed problems like the one that you observed? Some girls from underprivileged families not going to school and sharing with you that since we are girls, we can't go to school. The usual reaction is, yes, it's very sad, but what can I do about it? And even if someone decides to do, it is on a very small scale. You also started on a small scale with just 5 girls, but then you didn't stop there. You have made it grow into an all India movement, and where you're not reached, you still have that energy and enthusiasm to reach there. Of course, there's a limit to which any one individual or organization can do. The problems are enormous. But it is people like you who make a difference and inspire others to do something. Not only you are inspiring others to do something, you are training a whole new band of youngsters, the next generation, who are likely to do much better than what the older generations have done. Because very often when we think of educating the underprivileged, we think that, well, for them, basic literacy is important. Maybe education, which is enough to get them good jobs, is important. Only after they've reached a certain level of economic sufficiency that they'll be able to think of anything higher, think of helping others. But then you've taken that approach which is truly sort of integral. That's what integral education is about. Approaching the totality of the being and making sure that in spite of all the handicaps, in spite of the background from where they are coming, you have had the confidence to say that, well, these children also have a soul, and if we enlighten their minds with that light, with that force, these children will turn out to be different, and they have turned out to be different. And what all they have not done, we underestimate children. Partly, I think it is also evolution, which is in action and visible. That's what Sri Aurobindo and the mother are about. Their vision of the future, of the consciousness of the human race going up. And that will happen through the children who will be born. And it seems that we have a larger number of children now born who are highly receptive to the voice of their soul, the voice of that inner guide, and are willing to do something about it, have the courage to do it. They have both the clarity and the courage which comes from the contact with our divine essence, the soul. And some of the examples that you've given, the stories that you've narrated, would be truly memorable and unforgettable, like 9-year-olds forming a Bal Panchayat and then solving the problem of 60 families fighting with one another because there was just one tap to get the water. And they solved the problem. Or this girl just into her teens, a 13-year-old, getting up, sharing in public that, well, what you're discussing is important, but I want to tell you something which is even more important. And this was not only her problem, I'm sure it is a problem with many more. And that's what was discovered when you sort of, instead of trying to hush her up or tell her that these things are not to be spoken in public, you provided her the security and the confidence to do something about it. And she solved the problem for herself and I'm sure for many others. So it has truly been a very touching and moving experience to listen to you. I only hope there were more people to listen to you live, but The recording is almost as good. We'll upload the recording and on YouTube, and I'm sure many, many more would watch that and get inspired, get in touch with you, and try and see in what way we can all work together towards a common goal. And the goal is creating a better world. Thank you once again, and we hope to have you with us. And of course, we people from here are always available to you for anything that we can do. Thank you.
Thank you so, so much. We really do need you to come and give a talk, and to maybe we can find some mentors from the ashram, because we're always looking for mentors for especially our children, to guide them a little further. So we can't do this alone. So we would love your support. Thank you so much. Lovely words and wonderful. We have a lot of synergy with the values that you share from the ashram. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much again for sharing your valuable time with us and the beautiful session. Thank you so much. I thank the participants as well for being with us today. We can close today's session with a moment of spiritual silence.
Namaskar.